Everybody, welcome to 523 week 4. So let's jump right in and talk about the discussion forum, and then through doing that, we'll look at the two articles that you will be reading. So the discussion is actually, hey, what do you think of the two articles? Do you agree? Don't you? One of them, the online learning paper, written by Tom Vander Ark and Company. Quick warning, by the way, including table of contents and everything else, 46 pages. So it's not like a little two-pager, but it's really the meat of kind of the topic of week 4. So go through that, and it tends to be like, here, myth and reality. So as you go through that, one thing that they reference a lot is INACOL, INACOL. That's the International Association for K-12 Online Learning. Acronym doesn't quite work, but go with it. They have a great symposium or conference. If you've never heard about them, I think a great way to kind of dip your toe in the water is just their Twitter account. Really good resources. It's twitter.com/NACOL, NACOL, even though they're iNACOL. It's just at NACOL. So it's good stuff. That's referenced a lot. It's something that, as I've moved more into looking kind of bigger picture about how technology fits into the classroom, iNACOL comes up pretty regularly. I don't know, pretty regularly. It comes up when I'm talking, certainly with other tech directors, and whenever you tend to talk kind of bigger picture around what online teaching looks like. A quick reminder as we look at that, and then the other article from educationnext.org, the promise of personalized learning. You can think about this through kind of two different hats. This is why I love teaching educators, is that you can wear the hat of you're actually right now experiencing online learning, but these were actually written mostly through a K-12 lens. So for you, thinking about it with your teacher hat on, in case you don't know what hats look like, they look like this. With your teacher hat on, that was funny in my head. What does online learning look like? So you definitely have a rare experience being an educator and doing online learning in the way that you're doing right now through Concordia, but also thinking about it primarily as you read these, thinking about it as an educator. One other thing that I actually really like about the article, The Power of Personalized Learning, is that it's old. It's from, well, I mean, old for what we're talking about, 2013. So there's, I don't want to spoil it, but read it. And just kind of keep that in mind that it's about 4 years old now, and I think that that makes it interesting in a good way. So that's the reading. That is the discussion, and then it's just going to be you did this weeks 1 and 2, same thing weeks 3 and 4, same LMS assignment. You're going to go through and add kind of all these points. You're just going to go through the rubric, the About Me page, the assignment, FAQs, class calendar, collaborative tool. So go through the rubric, just create your class. Hopefully you can copy and paste a bit of that content from the first LMS as you build your second LMS, and that should be, hopefully that strategy will give you a good feel for kind of comparing and contrasting the similarities and differences of the two LMSs so far. So hopefully that won't feel kind of boring and tedious. It'll be like, oh, this is actually not as much work as I initially hoped. Hopefully it's, wow, I can really feel the difference between these two learning management systems. So enjoy Edmodo, have fun with that, and then as a reminder, as you share that with me, please don't add me to a class. I already have Edmodo accounts, and it gets to be weird when I sign up as a teacher, but then you add me as a student. So please either do screenshots of everything that's on the rubric, and then I can just look photo, 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 or just a screencast where you just go, all right, I'm going to walk you through everything on the rubric. Here's the About Me page. Here's an assignment. Here's the calendar, and on and on. And then I'll just have kind of the Blackboard rubric up, and then you'll walk me through the rubric, and I'll go, yep, you did that, yep, you did that. And it's pretty straightforward, just making sure that you went through everything. So have fun with that. I I've heard great things about it, so hopefully it's really useful for you. Um, hopefully it's a good use of your time. Last thing I'll leave you with is if you didn't have a chance to check the Q hashtag, CUEQ, be sure and check that out. Fall Q was at the end of October, and there's still amazing resources. The other trick I will give you is they have an online schedule built with Sched. So the URL on that, double check, I'll type it as I say it, fall.q.org. So people that presented have all their resources. So if you're wondering, about like sketch notes, type in sketch, and then you'll see, oh my goodness, there's a session on it, session resources, and I'm clicking on this right now. Oh my goodness, there's the slide deck from Kate Tolnai and Misty Klissner. That's fantastic, cool, but wow, I didn't even have to go to the conference, and yet here are all the resources. And Kate's slide deck has all kinds of really good resources. If you've been wondering how to sketchnote, fall.q.org, type in sketch or whatever. Like I talked about all kinds of cool stuff like design thinking with students, talked about Genius Hour, talked about social media like Snapchat and Instagram stories, and a handful of really cool presentations. So if you want to see mine, then that's a great way to go. But many people shared many great things. So even though that conference is over, the hashtag Q, some people use last year's hashtag FALLCUE, FALLCUE, as one word. So just hop on Twitter, search for that, and get some really cool resources. So hopefully, even though I don't know anyone besides me that went, you had a great time. I saw a couple Concordia alum that had been in my classes that one I co-presented with, one I had co-presented with last year. So that was fun. It was a little Concordia reunion, even though they had not met each other. I was like, hey, you guys were all in classes with me. Let's hang out. And we had lunch together. It was really cool. So you should consider going to an upcoming Q event. The next big one is Spring Q, sometimes called National Q. That one's in Palm Springs at the middle of March. So registration's still open. I think you still have early bird registration. Hotels are filling up though. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that. The three big conferences I tend to go to. And by the way, if you have a quick aside, I'm sharing a lot of this with you because the shelf life on your master's, like the relevance of it, is about 18 months, kind of 2 years if you stretch it, which is why I try and give you not only kind of here's what the week-to-week assignments are, but also here's some great people to connect with, or here's some kind of bigger trends and ways to continue to stay connected as an educator and continue to grow professionally. Even though you're in the midst of your master's now, that will not be in the case. In 5 years, the stuff we're talking about now is going to be kind of laughable when we get into kind of the details of it. But that bigger picture stuff, and a big part of that is connecting with other educators and continuing to grow and learn about what's the latest and greatest. So I always go to Fall Q, which was the end of October, just happened. Spring Q, which is middle of March down in Palm Springs. That one's 8,000 of your closest friends, 4 days long. And then the last one that I tend to go to pretty regularly is ISTE. That's the big international one. That's in Chicago at the end of June. And that's 17,000 of your closest friends and me. So that one's definitely drinking from the fire hose with, just the vendor hall is massive, thousands of sessions, thousands of people attending and presenting. It's amazing. I love it so much. And it's good. But next thing to be on your radar is going to be just catching up with what happened at Fall Q, because there's some really good resources, and that's, of the three I mentioned, it's the smallest one. It's about 2,000 people. So hopefully it's a good use of your time browsing that. Maybe follow a couple people, become a bit more connected educator. And aside from that, happy week 4. Enjoy digging into Edmodo and building out your second learning management system.